The story begins with Miss Yumi Makoto being transported to another world to become a hero by god Tsukiyomi. The other world is infested with non-humans and monsters, the goddess giving him only the ability to understand all languages. After wandering the wasteland for 3 days, Makoto saves a young orc named Emma from a two-headed wolf monster, which he kills, discovering how strong he now is. Emma takes him to her village where Makoto begins to learn magic. Makoto decides to destroy Shen, a giant dragon who uses the fog to create illusions. Shen traps Makoto inside an illusion of a happy memory, but after examining his other memories, becomes intrigued by his memories of Japan. Makoto breaks the illusion and is surprised when Shen offers to make a contract with him to become his familiar. Makoto agrees, and they form a contract, with Shen transforming into a busty samurai girl who is looking forward to what Makoto will do in the future. Makoto discovers Shen is obsessed with his memories of historical dramas and samurai. She teleports Makoto to the alternate dimension where she normally lives, but finds it now resembles Japan's countryside. Makoto informs the orcs that he defeated Shen, who offers for the orcs to live in her dimension, which is now ideal for farming. Makoto decides to discover more about his parents, whom Tsukuyomi told him were born in this world before moving to Japan. Shen appears with an injured dwarf, explaining their dimension as being attacked by a spider called Black Disaster that is cursed with eternal hunger and consumes everything. Makoto manages to completely exterminate the spider, but collapses as the spider regenerates. Shen tries to intervene, but the spider suddenly declares the extreme violence has satisfied its hunger, and she is determined to stay with Makoto forever. Shen suggests the spider form a contract with Makoto to gain a human form and become his servant. Makoto awakens and finds he has a new, similarly busty female servant who makes him slightly nervous. The dwarf is revealed to be Baron, an elder dwarf capable of crafting artifacts. Shen and the spider request personal names, so Makoto renames Shen as Tamo and names the spider as Mio. Makoto discovers while he is unconscious, Tamo and Mio go recruiting and his village is now populated by orcs, dwarves, mist lizards, and alk spiders. Makoto returns to the normal world and finds a human village, but they attack him. Tamo explains Makoto's magical aura is so strong the humans probably mistook him for a demon lord. Makoto spends months learning the human language and has the dwarves craft items to suppress his aura. Entering the human village posing as merchants, they register at an adventurer's guild. Tamo and Mio break records by being 4 times as powerful as the next strongest adventurer, while Makoto, due to his suppressed aura, ranks level 1, weaker than a child. Makoto notices the price of commodities is unusually high and that people have begun following them. Tamo prepares to foil a night attack on their wagon. While buying food, Makoto and Mio are approached by a young girl. The girl, Rinon, reveals her sister, Toa, disappeared. Tamo confronts the thieves but kills 3 by accident and captures a 4th. Rinon sketches Toa, and Makoto determines from the thief's memories their group is holding her captive and sends Mio and Tamo to retrieve her. Makoto is concerned Toa resembles a girl named Hasegawa he knew in Japan. Mio and Tamo locate Toa and her captor, Mills Ace, the current strongest adventurer. Rinon sneaks away and tells the thieves Makoto's wagon is full of expensive fruit, but he has already sold it. The thieves insist she steals Makoto's gold to pay Toa's debts. Rinon decides she can't steal from Makoto after he is so nice to her. Mio and Tamo defeat Mills and his thieves and destroy part of the city, competing to see who defeated the most enemies. Rinon reunites with Toa, who is identical to Hasegawa apart from her hair color. Tamo alters everyone's memories so the world believes a monster horde destroyed Zetsuya. As Zetsuya's guild was destroyed, Makoto must re-register in Saige, the next closest town. Makoto tricks Tamo into training alone in the wilderness while he travels to Saige with other adventurers. Mio and Makoto kill many monsters that Toa harvests for valuable parts, including rare ruby eye ants. Re-registering in Saige, Makoto celebrates with adventurers Louisa the elven archer, Hazel the human alchemist, and Ranina the dwarf priest knight. Makoto decides to sell the ruby eyes to the Rembrandt Trading Company, but is warned by Toa that Rembrandt has a bad reputation. Returning to his village, Emma reports on their progress. The Alk are settling in the mountains, the dwarves have begun constructing buildings, and the mist lizards clearing farmland, while the orcs have begun constructing Makoto a castle. Makoto is given a merchant outfit by the dwarves to further suppress his aura, but his magic is too powerful and destroys the outfit. Makoto discovers magical ingredients grown in the demiplane are more potent than normal. Makoto takes the ruby eyes to Rembrandt and finds the manager difficult to deal with. The manager, Patrick Rembrandt, is dismissive until he sees the ruby eyes and apologizes. He happily reveals the eyes make ambrosia, a cure for his wife and daughters cursed by a witch. Makoto goes to register as a merchant and passes the written exam easily as it is basic middle school mathematics. The second test is to gather 4 dangerous items, but he takes advantage of a rule saying he can substitute items of equal value and substitutes the ruby ants. Makoto returns to the demiplane where he plans to set up a hidden portal to trick traveling merchants into thinking the demiplane is a hidden city, trade for demiplane items, and then return home, creating a demand for demiplane products. Tamo and Mio are confused when Makoto chooses to sleep alone rather than pick one of them to have fun with, and decide they must come up with a seduction plan. Hazel agrees to Makoto's request to help brew the ambrosia. An adventurer watches Makoto and decides to gather as many adventurers as he can to stop whatever Patrick is doing with Makoto. Patrick secretly has the witch doctor who cursed his family dead. Hazel brews the ambrosia. Makoto is able to restrain Patrick's wife, Lisa, who has become a monster, and Patrick successfully administers the ambrosia. Using this method, they also cure Patrick's daughters. Makoto returns to Tamo and Mio, but they are attacked by the adventurer, Lime Latte, and his numerous allies. After defeating all 200 enemies, Lime claims he only wanted a sleeping curse to put on Lisa and her daughters as revenge for Patrick preventing adventurers who displeased him from finding further work, many of whom later died on quests too dangerous for them to handle, and has no idea why the witch doctor actually cursed them into monsters. Lime apologizes to Patrick, who decides to let him live, and Lime retires from adventuring. Tamo, who had seen in Lime's memories that he sends his wages to the orphanage where he grew up, gives him a katana forged by the dwarves and hires him to spy for her. Meanwhile, despite his gratitude to Makoto, Patrick considers what to do about Makoto starting a competing trading company. Returning to the demiplane, Emma informs Makoto yet another problem has arisen. The warriors in Makoto's village are depressed after training, and Makoto learns it is his fault as during training, he overwhelms them so completely they lose their self-confidence. He also realizes the various species don't train with each other, so he arranges weekly competitions, inspiring them to strengthen themselves and each other. Makoto, Mio, and Tamo re-register as adventurers and are immediately asked to train an adventurer to replace Lime Latte. Makoto chooses Toa and asks Tamo to train her, though Tamo is troubled as she knows Toa resembles the girl from Japan and worries Makoto misses his former life. Tamo puts Toa and her team through a brutal training regime and then tests their new abilities by ordering them to defeat a nest of 108 monsters, proving them the strongest adventuring team. Makoto decides to collect ambrosia flowers and also decides to rent shop space from Patrick, who realizes Makoto wants to rent as buying would bring him to the attention of the Tsige Kingdom, who would ask him to spy on Patrick, which Makoto does not want to do. Patrick agrees to arrange a shop space for Makoto in a neutral city not allied to any kingdom. The village throws a party to celebrate Makoto opening his trading company. Akine reveals they have located ambrosia flowers in the outside world, but decided not to harvest any as they are protected by elves. Mio and Tamo sense Makoto dying repeatedly during archery training. Tamo deduces when Makoto clears his mind to focus on the target, he unintentionally merges with the environment and dies for a split second, which feels to Tamo and Mio like he has committed suicide. This has caused his mana to increase to God's level. If it continues, the goddess who banished him to the wasteland will see him as a rival and try to kill him. Makoto returns to the human world and is approached by a fictional OnlyFans content creator, you know what it means, so he is dragged away by the furious Mio and Tamo. They declare they are tired of waiting for him to grow up and will have fun with him immediately. Makoto panics and flees through a portal. The dwarves forge more powerful mana-suppressing equipment. Mio apologizes for her and Tamo's behavior, so Makoto invites her to help negotiate with the elves. Other adventurers also appear to steal the flower, one of whom is the same woman he met the OnlyFans one, and cause the elves to attack immediately. Makoto teleports the adventurers to the Demiplane and then makes peace with the elves, Aqua, and Eris. Makoto meets Nilgestori and other elders. Nilgestori's son, Edono, is angry the barrier protecting the forest is weakening. Makoto meets Aqua and Eris' master Mondo, a powerful warrior. Mio suspects Mondo is possessed and overhears a telepathic conversation between Edono and an unknown person about demons. Later, a spirit frees itself from Mondo's body and drains the life from Edono, killing him for associating with demons. Makoto identifies it as a lick and captures it. Tamo reveals she was the dragon who created the barrier at Nilgestori's request many years ago. The lick explains he accidentally became a lick while trying to become a grant, a human that can freely travel between alternate worlds like a god. Tamo reveals that grants aren't humans who could travel. They are normal humans who accidentally traveled and so earned the title of grant. Realizing he has wasted his entire life on an impossible goal, the lick happily accepts Tamo's suggestion of forming a contract with Makoto and teaching him about magic. Forming a contract returns the lick from a skeleton to a young and attractive man. A magical explosion occurs in the village, causing Tamo to collapse. Makoto and Shiki are able to heal the injured. Makoto realizes the explosion forced open the portal to the outside world. Examining the memory fragments of the content creator, Makoto sees that she and her comrades attempted to steal magical items, and when guards intervened, one of the rings full of Makoto's magic exploded, killing Tamo's child fragment and an orc. Makoto follows and coldly kills the content creator in revenge. After the funerals, Makoto learns from Shiki that he is able to see the content creator's memories because memory viewing is one of Tamo's powers, a sign they trust each other implicitly. Makoto orders walls constructed so that any adventurers who visit the Demiplane to trade are kept separate from the village itself. Makoto visits Patrick, who has arranged Makoto's shop space in the neutral town of Rotsgard Academy. Makoto hopes to visit the academy to learn more about the world, the goddess, and humans. As he may be gone for a considerable time, he takes only Shiki with him and gives Mio and Tamo some more memories as gifts. As they prepare to teleport, the goddess suddenly locates Makoto and tampers with his teleportation, sending him to a distant battlefield where two demon warriors attack him and sever two of his fingers. The two reveal they are Sophia Bulger and Mitsurugi, the strongest adventurer in the world, and the superior dragon she became famous for supposedly killing. They explain they have joined the demon army to destroy humanity. Makoto removes all his mana-suppressing equipment, overwhelming Mitsurugi with his magic and shattering Sophia's legendary sword. Makoto manages to teleport away, leaving Mitsurugi and Sophia alive who swear revenge. Patrick receives word of the army's destruction from a powerful mage, but doesn't realize it is Makoto. Shiki believes the goddess used Makoto to destroy the army and maybe watch them. Tamo reveals she created another fragment named Kamo using Makoto's mana from a discarded ring, and Mio is furious when Kamo calls Makoto Papa. Makoto finally opens a shop, which is an instant success, and learns after he teleported away that the demon and human armies did massive damage to each other, and that two other goddess-summoned heroes took part in the battle. The village throws a feast to celebrate Makoto's shop, and he decides his future looks bright. But the feast is interrupted by another fight between Mio and Tamo, causing Makoto to change his mind that his immediate future is quite annoying.